However you look at it, one way or another, Law has had death flags surrounding his character for a very, very long time now. So could Blackbeard actually kill Law? Well, let's dive right into today's video and talk about it. But before we get into today's video, if you guys enjoy these videos, please consider subscribing and liking the video to get regular One Piece content like this. So the first thing I want to talk about is Law's purpose in the story, his mission. And ever since we were introduced to Law, or reintroduced to him post time skip in Punk Hazard, we start to get a little bit more information about him as a character and his reasons for what he does as a pirate. And we find out that he holds a lifelong grudge against Doflamingo, and his main purpose has always been to take down Doflamingo. And with that, he also wants to take down Kaido. So as we go through the entire Wano saga, as we go through Punk Hazard, as we go through Dressrosa, and we see the flashback and we see the connection that he's had with Doflamingo and Corazon, and the intense grudge he holds against Doflamingo, we understand why he wants to take him down so badly. And when he takes down Doflamingo, it feels like a strong part of his purpose has finally rested along with Doflamingo. And after Doflamingo's defeat, we see that a part of Law's character, a part of his purpose, can rest with that defeat of Doflamingo. However, his character moves on yet again as he just continues on the plot, because Doflamingo was a pit stop towards taking down Kaido, and although he held a personal grudge against Doflamingo more than anyone, his mission was always to take down Kaido along with Luffy. So we see during Wano he continues on with that mission, and ever since he took down Doflamingo was taken down by Luffy, we start to see a little change in Law's direction in the story. And in Wano, we see that he takes a lot more interest towards the D and the lineage of the D and what that history means for that clan, much more than Luffy or any other D member that we know of. And we see this early on in Wano. So we see that Oda already has plans to take Law somewhere else, because other than this, once Doflamingo was taken down, Law doesn't seem like the kind of guy that wants to go after the Pirate King title as badly as a Luffy or a Kid. So this was good because this gave Law a new direction into the story to move into. So Law's relevancy as a character right now stands with him wanting to find out about the D and the history of their lineage. But now this brings us to Blackbeard, and I want to talk about Blackbeard because Blackbeard and Luffy have been parallel since the beginning of the story, both characters making the biggest moves out of everyone in the pirating world. And with each move that Luffy has done, pre-time skip we saw Blackbeard was able to one-up it. And by one-upping it, Oda was able to keep him to appear as a greater threat than even Luffy, or at least a greater threat to Luffy than Luffy was to him. And this went all the way up to him capturing Ace and going to Marineford and all of that. This helped boost up the threat level of Blackbeard. And with the insane amount of success that Luffy has had in the pirating world of One Piece so far, and with him taking down Kaido and being the leader in the group that was able to take down 2 Yonko at once with the 3 billion berry bounty, Blackbeard is in desperate need for a push right now as a character. And yes, his bounty did go up from 2.2 to 3.9 billion. We don't know how, but we know it's gone up. But a bounty alone isn't going to make him a great threat because Luffy defeated Kaido. Now we're going to need something from Blackbeard, some kind of significant push to bring that level of threat above Luffy once again. Because right now, if you ask most One Piece fans, I'm sure a lot of One Piece fans, including myself, believe that Luffy is stronger than Blackbeard. And Luffy is more of a threat to Blackbeard than Blackbeard is to Luffy. So we need something from Blackbeard to put him back where he needs to be, because Blackbeard needs to enter the fight with Luffy at the end of the series being the greater threat in order for it to be a very interesting fight. And I think taking down Law would be a fantastic way to give Blackbeard that push. And like I said earlier, we know Luffy has a direct goal and a direct mission for what he wants. Kid, same thing. He wants that same mission. He wants to be the Pirate King. He has a direct goal. Blackbeard, same thing. A lot of these supernova characters and worst generation characters have their mission clear cut, even Zoro. Law's is kind of shaky because aside from discovering the history of the D, does he really want to be Pirate King? Does he not? Has he ever really stated it as a clear-cut fact in the story that that's what he wants? We don't know. So Law's future in the story is clearly the most shaky of all of the worst generation. And this is already a reason he's been getting a lot of death flags around his character so far. And in the One Piece community, there's always been some speculation that Sabo would be captured, and there will be parallels towards Ace's situation at Marineford and Sabo potentially being captured in the same way by the world government and having basically a Marineford repeat towards the end of the series. However, I think this could happen, but rather than Sabo, this can happen with Law. And hear me out here. Hear me out with the parallels. So, with the whole situation with Ace, pre-time skip, Blackbeard was able to Blackbeard capturing Ace was needed exactly when it happened, because it came right after Luffy's biggest victory pre-time skip. I think we can all agree that Luffy's biggest victory pre-time skip was definitely his fight against Rob Lucci. And after he defeated Rob Lucci, it was a perfect time with Luffy jumping up that much with his gears. Not just his biggest victory, but his biggest power-up. He was able to get gear 2, gear 3, and defeat his best opponent so far. Immediately, Oda came back with that push to make sure Blackbeard was still above Luffy by capturing Ace and holding him as a capture and sending him to the world government. Now, what is Luffy's biggest power-up and his biggest victory post-time skip? It's Gear 5 and it's Kaido. I think we can all agree with this. So right now, with the exact same thing happening as pre-time skip, Luffy getting an immense power-up and defeating his biggest opponent, Blackbeard is fighting Law. And in the exact same way he fought Ace, when he fought Ace in Banero Island, Ace was getting the better of Blackbeard in the beginning. This is a normal thing for Blackbeard, specifically because of his fruit, where his fruit allows him to take twice as much, I believe it was twice, or it could have been multiple times, the damage that anyone else would take, because his fruit, his darkness fruit, sucks in the damage, so he feels it multiple times over. But Ace was really no real threat for him, and I think Law is the same, where right now Law, we're seeing Law get the better of Blackbeard, is the same way we saw Ace get the better of Blackbeard. However, the same way we didn't see the end result of that fight, and we just heard that Blackbeard captured Ace, I think it's going to be the exact same thing with Law and Blackbeard, where right after Luffy's biggest power-up, right after he defeats his best opponent post-time skip, just like he did pre-time skip, Blackbeard challenges a younger character, a strong up-and-coming fighter, a strong up-and-coming pirate. We see only their highlights of the fight, and then we cut away, and then Luffy is going to hear that they lost to Blackbeard, and Blackbeard captured them. So that's what I think is going to happen. I think Blackbeard is going to defeat Law off-screen, and just like Luffy heard about Ace, he's going to hear about Law. Now, whether or not he sends Law to the Marines, I don't know, because he had a specific reason to do this with Ace. He wanted to become a warlord. What would be his reason to do this now? I don't know. But Blackbeard, we know, is capturing people left and right now. He just captured Pudding. He's capturing whoever he can right now. He tried to capture Bull Hancock. So he's capturing a lot of tough fighters. And I think he is going to capture Law as well. What he does with Law, I am unsure of. But the idea of a Marineford repeat happening with Law, I can see. I can see the world government wanting to sentence Law to death, for sure. There would just need to be a strong reason as to why. And if it did happen, Luffy would absolutely do everything he can to make sure Marineford did not repeat again. Because even though Law isn't his brother, they've been through practically 90% of post-time skip together, and Luffy would never just sit back and let him die. And the most important thing we got to talk about, we can't go without talking about this. A huge reason why a lot of people believe that Law was going to die for many years now is because of his eternal youth surgery that comes with his devil fruit. Ever since Doflamingo explained its abilities all the way back in Dressrosa and how it can grant someone eternal life at the cost of the death of the devil fruit user, a lot of people have been speculating that Law would die using this, because why would Oda introduce this into the story if he's never going to use it? And the only way he can use it is either if he shows it used in a flashback, or if the current holder, Law, uses it at some point in the story. So this already puts Law's death percentage, his death rate, the chances of him dying, very, very high. And it begs the question, if Law does die, surely he's going to have to die in a way where he's able to use this fruit and take advantage of it, right? If he's going to die, he may as well do it in a beneficial way to others. So is Law going to use this on Luffy? Is he going to use this on someone else? We don't know. Maybe, potentially, it's a situation where he's dying kind of like Ace at Marineford, but all the way towards the end of the series, and he's able to grant Luffy eternal youth with his Devil Fruit. But as for right now, Law versus Blackbeard, does Law die? I don't believe Law dies, but I 100% believe he gets captured. I don't think Law is getting out of Blackbeard's grasp at all in this fight. I think Blackbeard is going to defeat him, take his rubbings, and capture him, because that's going to give Blackbeard the push that he needs, not just in strength, not just in reputation, but in his chase towards the title of Pirate King, because he's going to have 2 new rubbings now, Big Moms and Kaidos, that he did not have before, and this is going to push him to be immediately right up there with Luffy in the race to be Pirate King. And stepping over a guy like Law is a perfect way for a character like Blackbeard to do this. So let me know down below in the comments what you guys think. Do you guys think Law can actually pull off a major upset here and defeat Blackbeard 1v1 in that fight? Do you think Blackbeard is going to kill Law in this fight right then and there? Or do you think it'll go something like Blackbeard capturing Law and setting up perhaps an interesting storyline for the future of One Piece? Let me know all that down below in the comments, guys. And as always, if you guys appreciate these videos, hit that like button, subscribe if you are new. Help me reach my goal of 800 subscribers by the end of the year. Let's see if we can make it, and I'll see you guys later this week with another video. Thank you guys for watching. Nature Boy out.